when we combine all the three pieces of the puzzle that you just saw, which are the pictures, the associations, and the places, we have this broad overview here. Now let us apply these concepts to the memory palace, and I will show you how the memory palace was used to memorize all those numbers of pi. Okay, let's first look at converting the numbers into pictures, because as you learned just now, pictures are stickier in your memory. So let's look at the 11th to the 20th number of pi. So the numbers are 58, 97, 93, 23, 84. We have a translation system called the major system. And this major system, it is a translation key that makes each letter correspond to a number, or should I say each digit correspond to a letter instead. And when we have all these numbers, we put it through the major system. What happens is that we get pictures. For instance, since the number 5 translates to F and the number 8 translates to SH, we put these two together, we add in the consonant I, we get FISH, which is fish. So this is the method which we use to convert the numbers into pictures. Pushing through the rest of the numbers through this major system, we get 97 as a goat, 93 as General Motors, which is the American company, 23 as Nemo from Finding Nemo, and 84 of Joker from Batman. And what do we do with all these pictures now? If you have all these pictures floating around, it's going to get rather disorganized. Also, besides organization, we also will find it very hard to remember these 5 images. What we can do is now to associate these pictures with one another in order to both organize them and to remember them. Associations help our memory. If I just say to you, fish, goat, GM, Nemo, Joker, you will not be able to get them into your head. But what if I say, you see a fish on the ground, you step on the fish, and you fall down. A goat comes by you, you grab the goat by the horn, you pull yourself up, and the goat says to you, the MRT has been breaking down recently, they should get General Motors to build a better MRT. After climbing yourself up, you see Nemo on the floor in front of you. And what happens to poor Nemo? Joker from Batman comes, grabs Nemo, squeezes it in his hand, and it splatters into orange blood. This is how you create associations between all the 5 pictures. And I'm sure that is unforgettable for you. Besides helping the pictures stick better in your memory, what you have done is that you have come up with a sequence by which you organize. In this case, the sequence is sequential. Well, the connections are sequential, but it is possible to have connections which form a more complex web, such as these as you see here. The last element of the puzzle is the place. When we have all these memories in our head, it is hard for us to retrieve it whenever we want to. In order to help our brain retrieve these memories, we can build one more layer in our memories, which is to sort them out into places. Now, let's just think about how our computers work. What happens when you want to find a file on your computer? You have to go to Computer, hard disk C, My Documents, and then all the folders you have, and then you find the file you want. When we do it in the memory palace, what happens is that instead of having all these memories floating around, we sort them into rooms. So if I enter one room, I will go on to a next room. Or if I look at a building, I see many rooms in them, and I know which is a room I want to go in order to get the memory I want. So during the demonstration you saw just now when I was thinking, I was actually thinking, where can I find these memories? So that once I open the door, I can see those pictures floating around, and then I decode them using the major system. And I use the associations to help me make sure that I get every single one of those pictures. Okay, and this is how the memory palace works. There's a very interesting thing about the memory palace, which is that if we look at this simplified picture of the memory palace and we make it more abstract, we place less emphasis on the place, what happens is that it is in fact a mind map. Now you can understand why mind maps are supposed to be important. It is because mind maps are actually memory palaces. For the element of the place, think about each piece of paper as the place of the memory palace, as the room of the memory palace. So if you know that the information you want is in the top left corner, you go to the top left corner of the piece of paper on which you have recorded the information. And this is another reason why mind maps that are just a text wall full of text don't work, because they are not using pictures. And this is why the lines that you draw between all the pieces of information that are on the mind map, they are important because they are the associations. If you do not think to yourself when you are drawing a mind map, what is the meaning of this association? Am I just drawing these lines for fun, or am I really thinking about how the ideas relate to each other? If you do not do these associations, you are not really using the mind map. You are just having a more pictorial way to portray your information. And that is it. That is the lesson for the memory palace and how it is actually a mind map. Okay, now we will go on to this next segment, which is talking about how we can link all the ideas in the sciences together.